Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode from Minnesota Sports HQ. I'm Ben,
And I'm Jordan.
and welcome to this video. Now, what are we covering today, Jordan?
Today we are going to cover a preview for the Minnesota Twins.
And as this is the start of the 2018 season, we have a few preseason games under our belt, so we've seen a little bit about what the team is, and I can't lie, it looks pretty decent.
So far, so good. So, in this video, we're going to cover off-season additions. A few people left, but nothing too significant. We're going to take a look at a few key games coming up, and what else is on the schedule?
Yeah, we're going to take a look at kind of, what happened last year, some stats, a few players we expect to do well this season, and then to end it off, you'll hear a prediction of, what's going to happen over the next 6 months to the Minnesota Twins, and, where we'll finish in the division, and maybe playoffs. Who knows? So let's get straight into the video. All right, so first we're going to talk about the key off-season moves. Now, not too much happened. It's been a fairly quiet window for us. A few additions coming in, but only one leaving.
That's big, sexy. Bartolo Colon is really the only main person leaving. I think with the lineup in general, you'll see the same faces as you did last year. But what we did add, which was much needed, obviously, was pitching.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we kind of got a reliever at first in Addison Reed, a very good reliever from the Cubs. He helped them a lot in their 2016 championship run. Closed out some games there.
We also added Fernando Rodney. I mean, it's a risky pickup. He's up there in age, but I feel like he can contribute, especially late in ball games. Who else?
Well, the main addition that we had was Jake Odorizzi from Tampa Bay. Now, this was quite a steal. I mean, I think we gave up two not great prospects who I've never heard of for this guy.
Yeah, I know they said our fourth best shortstop prospect. I mean, which.
And we really don't need a shortstop with Royce Lewis coming up the ranks.
The 18-year-old phenom. We
Sorry.
also have Nick Gordon in the system, too.
Yep, and another shortstop, Eric Ibar, we picked up.
That's an interesting pickup. I really like that by the Twins. I think just 4 years ago with the Angels, he was an all-star. So, I mean, why not? It's worth it. I think he'll be a good utility player for the Twins this year.
Yep, and then one last piece of business the Twins did was we picked up Michael Pineda off the injured list. Now, I believe, I'm not sure if he tore his ACL or if he had Tommy John surgery, but he's out all of this year.
We won't see him this year. We signed him for a 2-year deal, I believe.
And hopefully we'll see him next year. He'll be 30 when he can start playing again, which isn't too bad. I mean, he probably, if the recovery goes well, he probably has 4 or 5 years left in him.
Yeah. Good pickups by the Twins. Obviously, we needed pitching, and I mean, we didn't get a big name, but I think our bullpen for sure will be top 5 in the AL at least. It's just bold prediction there.
Bold prediction.
No, I said relievers. I didn't say starters.
All right.
So what do you think about the starting rotation?
Yeah, I mean, we can go through some. Oh, as far as pitchers, or do you?
Pitchers.
Okay, pitchers. All right. Well, I really like our, top 3 guys, but I really think we're gonna struggle with getting or finding out who our number 4 and 5 guys are, and that's really what's gonna kind of determine our season, I'd say. I mean, we have a few guys that are up and coming. I mean, we have Slaggers, we have Enns, and Trevor May might come back. We still have Phil Hughes down.
It'll definitely be interesting. We got the top three on lock with Santana, Barrios, and Odorizzi. So the final two will we'll see.
We'll have to see, and especially with Santana out for the first month or so, that might be, kind of critical. And, Santana's getting up there in age. I mean, he's 35 right now.
35. You gotta wonder how he'll bounce back after such a great year last year. So.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he'll be as clutch as he was. I mean, he did extremely well last year. I mean, he led the team, 33 games played, and yeah, some solid stats. 211 innings pitched, and
Made the All-Star game.
yeah, which is very impressive. And I also really like Jose Barrios. He is absolute quality.
Yep.
I believe he's 23.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure.
And even Kyle Gibson at the end of the year came on really strong. So.
And also, one name we forgot to mention was Hector Santiago.
That's true. I kind of forgot about him.
Didn't we all? And yeah, did we get rid of Matt Belisle, or is he still on the team?
I'm not sure. I don't know if his contract ran out or what, but I haven't heard of him yet this year. So.
Yeah, so a few interesting things to talk about. Dylan G, he might still be on the team. Buznitz, he did okay for some of the season.
Dylan Perkins, he retired.
Yes, he did.
I think we'll see him in the front office for the Minnesota Twins now, along with about 6 other Twins. I mean, we got Torrey Hunter, Morneau.
Yep.
I mean, in case we have a lot of injuries, we could just go to the front office and hopefully put them in the lineup on any day.
Put Torrey Hunter, when Byron Buxton gets his injury every half season, pretty much.
Yep.
And now I think let's go on to as far as, the starting lineup day today, maybe a few of the subs, and, we'll probably rate what we think of them. That sounds pretty good.
So we might as well start at the one spot, the catcher. Jason Castro, the single machine, is back. He should be the starting catcher opening day, backed up by Mitch Garver.
Yep, and what do you think about Chris Jimenez? Do you think he'll be up at all?
I'm not sure. I mean, you never know with injuries, but
yeah, it's tough to say.
I could see him playing a DH role maybe. Not too much behind the plate.
Okay.
So let's move to first base. We got that on lockdown.
Yep, we got big Joe Mauer, and very good hitter last year. Not even talking about the field. He didn't make too many errors. I was pretty impressed. But his hitting was ridiculous. He hit over 300 last year.
Yep.
Had the most hits on the team. Absolutely ridiculous. And backing him up, we have Kenneth Vargas.
Oh, Kenneth.
Kenny Vargas, for some of us that like to say that. And, he was pretty clutch last year. He came in, and I believe he hit a few walk-offs, if I'm not mistaken. I remember.
I think you're right.
I remember some of those games. I think he walked off against St. Louis. One of those hilarious games.
He only batted .253, but he's not really there in for contact. He's there for the big bomb.
Yeah, he hit 11 homers in 78 games that he played in with 241 at bats.
He was kind of the guy that was in and out. I mean, he was with Rochester for a week, then he came to Minnesota for a week, and I don't know what kind of role we'll expect to see him this year.
He changed numbers, so, new year, new Kenny.
We'll see with Kenny. All right, let's go to second base. And the Gold Glove winning Brian Dozier.
Yep, possible MVP candidate this year, depending, what happens this season. A few names fall off. Aaron Judge gets injured, he might have a shot at winning a possible MVP.
He kind of had an underrated year last year, I think. Hit .271, 34 homers, along with 93 RBIs. So.
Yep, second in the team in hits as well. And, we don't really need, a backup second baseman, but the guy we picked up last year, Ahir Adrianza, is a very good backup if needed for second and shortstop. And speaking of shortstop, what do we got?
So opening day, we'll see Jorge Polanco. A great year last year. He really came on, especially towards the end of the year. He did hit 256. It seems a little low, but
He had a much stronger impact on defense for
Mhm.
sure.
And backing him up, I mean, we'll see Ibar maybe,
Maybe. I mean, there's always a chance. I mean, we got to play him sometime.
and then we also have Adrian's a quality backup and can
Hmm.
play basically any infield position. He even played the outfield a few times last year.
Yep. And then moving along, we have third base, and you know, two strong candidates
Mhm.
that can play third base. I mean, ideally, if we have a DH spot filled, Miguel Sano will play third base. But if Miguel is for some reason injured, as we've come to expect,
Mhm.
or he's playing DH, we got Eduardo Escobar as a very solid third baseman, strong arm, and Escobar actually hit really well last year, 254, and had quite a bit of hits.
21 home runs. That's kind of a surprising number for Escobar.
Yeah, considering he's not really known as a power hitter.
And then Sano, he went out early. Was it in what was it, late July? I think he went out. Only played 114 games, but he did have 28 homers. He hit 264.
A lot of strikeouts, though.
Yeah,
A lot of
we
strikeouts.
got to see that number go down for sure. And then let's move out to the outfield. What a great outfield!
Yeah, we have.
Great young outfield.
Yeah, we definitely have one of the best young outfielders in the majors. I rate all the guys that are at these positions. We have Eddie Rosario in left. Absolutely incredible. 27 homers for him last
He
year.
hit 290. I mean, he was approaching the 300. He was kind of flirting with the 300 mark there towards the end, and then he kind of dropped off. 290, still a great year for Eddie.
Yep, and doesn't really make too many mistakes in the outfield either.
No.
Has a rocket for an arm. And then, the only position that worries me is center field in the outfield. And that's not on the defensive side at all. Byron Buxton is an absolute legend when it comes to giving our pitchers some support for home run balls that he catches out of who knows where.
He won a well-deserved Gold Glove last year.
Yeah, with that speed, the opposing team's hitters have to be so much more careful with giving him a diving chance opportunity.
Yeah, I wonder how many runs he actually saved last year. It's gotta be a outrageous
Plus or minus
number.
100? I'd say plus.
I mean, Gibson would have had over a 7 ERA if he didn't have Buxton out there playing center field. So.
Everybody would have had an over 7 ERA. And, not too great from Buxton in the hitting front. He kind of came along towards the end of the season, had a 253 batting average. On base percentage was 314 though.
Yeah.
Which is not bad.
That's perfect for Buxton. I mean, if he's on base with 316, I mean, with his speed, that's
poses such a threat. I remember the first game I watched of him. He got walked, and this was in the ninth inning. We were playing the Rays. He got walked, and he was stealing second, and the following batter hit a single, and he was stealing second, and he made it all the way to home.
Yeah, just ridiculous.
Won us the game single-handedly from his speed.
Just think if he could hit at least like 275, 280.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets on base a third of the time, I think I'm happy with him, just for how much he saves us on the defense. Definitely can save us many times. And then right field, I'm a big fan of Max Kepler.
I really like Kepler. I mean, he really doesn't do anything wrong. He can hit, he can field well, he's fast. Yeah.
Not much to say, just solid consistency from Max Kepler. And every team needs a fourth outfielder that can come in, and ours just happens to also play DH on several occasions, which is very impressive that he has that much power for being an outfielder.
Good old Robbie Grossman.
Robbie Grossman.
And like I mentioned earlier, Adrianza can even step in.
Yep. Very versatile team, for sure. So I'd rate our defense as one of, probably top 5 in the league.
I would agree.
I'd rate our offense probably top 10 in the league. I mean, we don't have as much power as I'd like us to have, but we can do some damage if they get in a jam.
The only thing is starting pitching. Which, I mean, it's a Twins thing. So we'll see about that. I would rate that in the bottom third of the league.
Yep, definitely. And hopefully with the additions of Odorizzi and, you know, getting Santana back, hopefully we'll come back up. Hopefully Barrios continues.
Hopefully Phil Hughes comes on. I mean, Trevor May is supposed to be back sometime in late April, hopefully.
Yep, for sure. So now, I guess we can kind of talk about some key games in the schedule. And Jordan, you look at it, what are you seeing?
So the season starts a little bit earlier, not much, but it starts late March. March 29th, they go to Baltimore right away for a 3-game series. The home opener at Target Field is Thursday, April 5th against Seattle. Always a great day. So you see Target Field packed, 40,000 for once.
Yep.
But that's really nice. Right away, we get a nice 2-week homestand to start off the year at home.
Yeah, for sure. A big series I want to point out is, we're at Yankee Stadium,
Yep.
in late April.
Right around the time Irvin will be back. So
Yep.
hopefully he can get some revenge for his wild card start he had there last year.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
As far as some other stuff that's interesting, we have a couple stretches where we play only the division. We have a 4-game homestand against Cleveland, late May, early June. And
it'll be interesting to see us play the Tigers for the first time. Because
Yep.
you know who their manager is this year. Good old Ron Gardenhire.
Yep, knows a lot about us, but
Yeah.
Also doesn't know that much about us because, he didn't bring through those young outfielders.
It'll be weird seeing him in a Tigers uniform.
Oh, for sure.
That's for sure.
Another thing I want to talk about is we have a very tough month of June. Not too many breaks. We play Cleveland, like I said. We have the White Sox, which, they might be okay, very young. We have the Angels, who almost made the playoffs last year.
They were right on our tails.
We have Detroit, and then we have Cleveland again, and then Boston, a revamped Boston team, a revamped Texas team, and then we go back to the White Sox, and then
we're in Chicago for 6 games? No, 7 games. 6, sorry.
Yep.
Because we'll go to the South Side and play the White Sox, and then
Yep.
a rare occurrence, we're at Wrigley Field to take on the Cubs. So that'll be interesting.
Yep, and then we have another series with Milwaukee right after that. So pretty tough stretch there. But one thing we kind of want to point out is that if the Twins are in playoff contention or just a little bit behind by about September, early September, we have a pretty good chance at making the playoffs. I mean, we have a tough series against Houston on the road in early September, but after that, we have a series against Kansas City. We're against the Yankees at home, Kansas City again, Detroit again. We're at Oakland, Detroit, and the White Sox. So
I see a ton of winnable games there the last month of the year.
Yep. So if we're even in the hunt, late season, we definitely have a chance to, pick up some wins, much needed, if we're going to challenge for, a wild card spot or the division. And now, talking about, fighting for a wild card or a division spot, we're going to kind of talk about, what's going on in the division and where you'll think we'll finish in the division.
Okay, so we got kind of an odd year in the AL Central. Usually it's a tough division to even get a playoff spot, but this year is really weird. We have the Royals, who lost a lot of key players to free agency.
Yep.
Their starting pitching is awful. So we have the Royals. They're going to be on a rebuilding year, along with, I believe, the Tigers. And then the White Sox, very young. I don't know how the White Sox will be. I don't think they'll finish last, but they're very young. I don't think their starting pitching is going to be able to compete with, the top dogs. And then, of course, Cleveland. So, my prediction, I'm taking Cleveland to repeat for, the third time in a row?
Yep, I agree with that.
The AL Central. I'll take the Twins, your Minnesota Twins, number 2.
I agree with that as well.
Number 3, I think the White Sox will sneak in. 4, 5, I don't know. What do you think about the 4, 5 spots?
I agree with you completely on the first 3 slots. I think Detroit will be a little bit better than Kansas City. Kansas City lost about half their bats this year.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to do it. They're going to bring up a lot of young guys. So I think Detroit to finish 4th, and then Kansas City to finish last.
That's weird to hear. I
Yep.
mean, they've been such a powerhouse lately.
Yep. So, now that we predicted that we're going to finish second in the division, the only real thing is kind of talking about, the wild card race because, we're not automatically in the playoffs if we get second in the division because baseball has a pretty flawed playoff system.
Yeah.
Only 10 of the 30 teams get in, which is absolutely ridiculous. And, Jordan, so, you think we're going to finish second.
Yes.
And, the battle for the wild card race usually involves, 2 of the second place teams or all of the second place teams from the 3 divisions. So if you're looking at the other divisions, who do you think, is going to challenge us?
You got to look at the AL East right away. You got the Yankees and Red Sox, 2 powerhouses. And even Baltimore, I think, will sneak in there.
Possibly Toronto, too.
Yeah. So definitely the second AL East team will be, for sure, I think.
Probably ahead of us,
Yep.
yeah.
And then the AL Central, just the Indians and Twins, I think, even have a shot at making the playoffs. Then we go out to the West. I'm taking the Astros to repeat as AL West champions. And you got to look at the Rangers. I think they'll have a bounce back year this year.
There's a chance. I think their pitching's a little weak, but
We'll see
they have a
about
chance.
that. The Angels, they're kind of right with the Twins. Very similar team to the Twins. So
Except they actually have a superstar in Mike Trout.
that's true. So back to your question, our biggest challengers regarding the AL wildcard spot would be, I would say, the Boston Red Sox. I think the Yankees are going to take the AL East crown. So I think we'll be fighting the Red Sox or the Baltimore Orioles for that final wild card spot. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think we'll probably be more suited for the second wild card spot. I think we'll be fighting it out with Toronto, Baltimore, or Los Angeles, because I think Boston will probably get it. They added some bats, as they always do. So, I'm looking at the second wild card spot. I think that's about where we'll finish, just like last year.
I want the first one so we can at least get a home playoff game here for once.
What, you want to go? I mean, I want to go too, let's be honest. But, we'll probably be facing a Boston team who's very strong. Doesn't look likely that we'd win against Boston, but it is a one-game playoff. You never know.
Anything can happen. We'll see.
And that's the beauty of the wild card. Now, if we win the wild card game, how far do you think we can go?
I hate to say this, but I think first round is our potential as of right now. You never know though, like, who knows, we could add a starting pitcher at the trade deadline. Anything can happen. Injuries, you never know, but right now I'm saying first round, I would say, because we'd have to play the 1 seed, and we all know what happens if we play the Yankees. I mean, we've seen that, the last 3 times.
Yeah, we'd have to play the Yankees, Indians, or Astros, and I think that's a little bit out of our league right now.
Yeah. The only thing is, I think our lineup competes with their lineups. It's
just pitching.
It all comes down to our starting pitching.
We've been saying this for, 8 years?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we've been saying that for 8 years.
I think through our lives we've seen, 1 playoff series win?
Yeah, literally 1 win.
What was that stat you said about Joe Mauer?
Okay, yeah, Joe Mauer, this is sad. He's been in 14 playoff games. He has won 1 of them.
So, just in case for you listeners, that's 1 in 13 in our last 14 playoff games. Sweet mercy. Gosh.
Yeah, so that's very bad, as you alluded to with your facial reaction. But
most of those losses coming to the Yankees. So
naturally,
if we just avoid the Yankees, I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. So I think if we're looking at this team, there's one of 2 ways you can look at it. One is that our young fielders hopefully continue to improve. If our pitching does well, if we figure out our 4th or 5th pitcher, we could make a run, basically. So, as usual, a little bit of hope coming into the season, but we all know by about August it'll be like this.
I'm excited, though. It's going to be...
baseball season is back.
Fun team to watch this year, I think.
And that's all we can really ask for if we're not really challenging. for a World Series. Exciting, and maybe pick up another starting pitcher next year. I mean, we'll have Pineda.
Panera?
Panera Bread. Pineda Bread. That's going to be a thing next year. We're going to make a sign. We're going to take it to opening day. What do you think?
I like it.
All right.
Just over a month away, opening day.
Yep. And, we're going to be excited for opening day. We hope you're excited for opening day. And, what we do on this channel is hopefully we give a daily recap of, everything that happens in Minnesota sports. And if not, well, sorry.
We try our best.
We do. We're not perfect. But for days where there's no sports, we have other videos. And we haven't released them yet. But
sneak peek, there will be a game show coming soon.
So. Look at that. So be sure to click the subscribe button. That'll be right about here. And hope you guys have a good night. And we are ready for baseball season.
Yes, sir.